Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today and we are going to be talking about Elorea, the newer collection. Yes, so actually I had another one in queue that I'd already done, but somebody asked if this week I would look at Silk Bouquet and I said sure. Luckily my channel's really small so I can still kind of take requests here and there because it is so small. So I'm like, you know what? I already did Bouquet, but I will do this one and post it first. So there may be some confusion when you look at the video. It's like, why is she talking about it this way? That's why. That's why. Somebody requested it and I'm like, heck yeah. So here we go. Silk Bouquet. Okay, so this one will be 160 at this time for 50 milliliters. And it is considered luminous and graceful, fragrance profile, soft woody floral, which sounds absolutely lovely. So Silk Bouquet captures the ethereal beauty of Kongjeon Chehwa. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It is in Hangul. The royal Korean art of the silk flower making from the Joseon dynasty. This craft involves artisans meticulously creating lifelike flowers from silk and rami, dyed with natural hues symbolizing peace, longevity, and health. So beautiful. So the fragrance opens with the luminous freshness of Korean watermelon blossom and the softness of white magnolia. That sounds beautiful. I love magnolia. Love, 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 love. It reminds me of this woman that I knew when I was younger, from 12 to 17. She was this elderly woman, and her name was Sarah, and she had a magnolia tree. And she loved that tree, and she was like one of my best friends. I know she was like in her 80s, and I was kind of a strange kid. I was kind of an old soul, so she was like my best friend, and I loved her. So I kind of have this place in my heart for magnolias. I love them because I remember smelling them, and she was such a wonderful, integral, beautiful part of my life at that time. So I'm excited for this one. So the top notes are Korean watermelon blossom, lemon, white magnolia, heart iris, narcissus, tuberose, and base patchouli, vetiver, clary sage. Now that's interesting. That base is not what I expected. Patchouli, vetiver, and clary sage. Very interesting, especially considering all these beautiful floral notes with lemon. I'm kind of like, what? A little bit. That came from nowhere. But that excites me because it makes it unique. It's not just a floral. There's more to it, which there usually is. I mean, there are some floral scents, but I think most are going to add something else to it. Ooh, this is not opening well. So I'm just excited because I don't think it's sage, patchouli, and vetiver. But here we go. You can smell something a little bit. Very light scent. Like a light white floral. But here we go. Okay, so we are ready. So what's happening is immediately you get this beautiful blast of white florals. Like it's like nondescript, but you know it's light white florals. For some reason, they just tend to have a delicate scent to them, unlike, you know, a rose or even jasmine at times, which could be a little bit heartier. It's that sweetness of the magnolia. But what's interesting is the magnolia is coming out. But what's interesting is you get this beautiful lift of the lemon cutting through it. So it's these beautiful light, almost like it is. It's actually exactly like if you had a bouquet of flowers and they're very light scented ones and you're like, and then lemon just goes, it doesn't just cut through, it kind of bounces through it. It uplifts it. So florals here and the lemon's just jumping over it. Like a sheep over a fence when you're trying to sleep, when you're counting those sheep. So I don't know if that really works, but I tried it as a kid and it didn't work. But there you go. It's still a cute visual. So yeah, the lemon's just jumping over these white flowers in a field almost. It's just so lovely. Or if you're holding a bouquet. Ooh. And then what comes out is the magnolia. Slowly kind of parts through the white florals and is like, I'm here. Oh, that's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Now this one's light. This one's very light right now. I would say it is out to here, but it's not strong. So I do want to say that the aesthetic for Korea and also Japan a little bit is to be lighter, fresher, cleaner scents. Tend to like more restrained scents that you can wear all day long in any kind of circumstance that isn't, nobody's going to be giving you side eye with this. They're clean, they're fresh. And this is right there. Now, that doesn't mean Elorea, if you don't care for that aesthetic, Elorea does have some stronger scents that pull away from this. But I think this is very smart. This and Bouquet, which I'll be speaking about in a different video, are very light and fit that aesthetic. And I think it's really smart given they just opened a shop in Itaewon, Seoul. So you can't go too crazy outside of the box of what people are interested in. Not saying that there's people in Korea who don't like a bolder hand, but I think that this will fit in really well more with the aesthetic. Interesting. My body is really pulling out, wow, that lemon. The lemon is really coming through strong. That's really interesting. Korean water blossom or watermelon blossom, I am not as familiar with. I don't know that one. I'm not even going to lie to you. I know tuberose and iris, but those aren't really, I don't know narcissus that much. I've known some in real life, but not fragrance rise. Definitely getting that magnolia, and what's interesting is that there is the tuberose is slowly coming up to meet the magnolia. But there's also some kind of greenery in there, and I'm wondering if that's the watermelon blossom, because I don't know that one as much. It's more of a Korean note, is what they're saying. So I don't know that one as much, but there's kind of an interesting greeny kind of, it's a scent I'm not aware of. It's almost like a rind. So it's like green, but it's almost like a rind of like a watermelon rind, but not watermelon rind. It's not that smell, but a little bit. Interesting. On the shirt, it's magnolia and rose. Huh. So this is going everywhere. It really is, depending on, well, it's in the air right now because I just sprayed it compared to my chemistry, and on the shirt, it's going everywhere. The thing is, it is predominantly floral. It's just which floral is going to come out depends on what it's on and your chemistry. This is strange in a good way. Here, this is magnolia and lemon. Oh, that's so good. So this smells like the initial spray, which is magnolia and some white flowers. Like, that seems really generic, but the magnolia is coming up through that with the lemon and a little bit of some kind of rind smell. Yeah, this one's beautiful, and more rose on my chemistry. This one truly is beautiful, but it's just so delicate. It's so, I'm gonna say it. I usually don't like to categorize. These are all unisex, but it's just so feminine. Wow, this whole collection, it has a possibility of making me go broke if I buy them all. So there you go. It's really good. Oh, wow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check back in an hour because I am in love with this one. It is just so beautiful. Is it groundbreaking? No, there's been florals around forever, but it's so beautiful in its gentleness and I don't know, I almost said sensitivity. I don't know if I would say that, but it's gentleness that it's just, oh, it's so good. But what we're going to do is we're going to explore this in an hour because it should change a little bit. We'll see if those base notes come up because I'm not getting the patchouli yet or the vetiver yet, but it'll probably show up more in the clary sage. So I'm curious to see where it goes with that because right now I love this world I'm living in. But we'll come back in an hour and see where this one goes. Okay, so it has been an hour and this one is beautiful, but it's exceptionally light. So just know that, which doesn't really surprise me. A lot of the florals from past collections have been very light, very personal scents. This one is absolutely beautiful, but out of the three that I've tried, and I know Royal Resin, I could smell it from here, is a powerhouse. So out of the four of the new collection Resonance, I think it was, this is very much the lightest of the four. So just know that going into it. Again, with Elorea, you can spray them for, I would do 6 to 8 with the lighter ones, and it makes it stick longer. But again, it's still very light-handed. But let's try it here on the wrist. Ooh, that's really pretty. On the wrist, it has this powdery floral to it. A powdery magnolia scent. Very interesting. Hi. It's very, yeah, powdery magnolia. The lemon has removed itself from the property. It is gone. So it's this beautiful powdery magnolia, which to me, magnolia is a little bit powdery, and a rose scent to it. Oh, that's really pretty. I don't get the well, I do. I get a little hint of the clary sage under it to give it some grounding. So it's magnolia, powdery, dusty like magnolia with a slight tuberose. And then what you get underneath it is a little hint of the clary sage. That's very interesting, actually. Just a tad bit on it to kind of ground it, so it's not just a light floral. It grounds it a bit. But again, it's so light that I don't even know if you would necessarily place it unless you were looking for it, unless you have really good nose or your body chemistry pulls out sage. But let's try it on the clothing. On the clothing, the sage comes through a little bit more for me with the magnolia. It's actually almost kind of like a soapy floral, with magnolia being the lead with sage. Yeah, that's very interesting. Where is this little guy? Here, it's more rose prominent. It's rose with magnolia and still a little bit of hint of that citrus, with a tad bit of sage, but I'm pulling that out because I know it's there. It's really almost non-existent here. Oh, it's that rose and magnolia with a little bit of lemon and brightness, possibly of the vetiver with lemon, but the vetiver really is not, you just feel a brightness, a lemony brightness. So it could be lemon mixing with that vetiver, but it just brightens it. That's really interesting. I kind of see it on there, but not really, because my chemistry is going to play very differently. Let's try it on the shirt. And it smells more soapy on the shirt, and the shirt doesn't smell like soap. No, I just pulled it out of the closet. It was clean last spring, and now it's like, hi. So it smells like nothing. Wow, this one morphs. This one morphs a lot depending on your chemistry and what it is on. I really love this. I really love it on here. Oh, it's exceptional on here. It's just that beautiful, and iris. I'm getting iris. Here, it's just, it really is picking it up. But I find these frustrating because a lot of the times I want the perfumes to smell like this, and it's not realistic because it's paper. It's not fabric, which can be natural or synthetic. It's paper versus your chemistry. So it smells beautiful on here, but it smells really good on that paper. Ooh. If life could be like that, those papers. It's just not realistic. That's why I didn't use them the first year that I opened this channel, is because I do find that it's a little bit tricky, because that is not your chemistry or clothing. So that's why I've started doing all three. But ooh, that's lovely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check back in 4 hours, and we'll see where this one has gone, because I'm a little bit concerned because it's been an hour and it's already really, really light. But who knows? I've been fooled before. Yes, I have. So I'll see you back in 4 hours. Okay, it has been an hour, and I can definitely still smell this one. Now, I will say it's very gentle. It's very much a me scent, a personal scent. Or if somebody comes into your space and you give them a hug, they would smell it. But it's a very intimate scent. This is a very light scent. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes when people hear that, they look at it from the perspective of, when a lot of people actually like that. Not everybody wants to be smelled, if that makes sense. And so this makes it safe, if that's what you're into. If you want something very fresh, beautiful, and clean, this is the one for you. It's a very personal space bubble fragrance. And a lot of people are looking for that. So I do want to point that out. I think this is probably one of the gentler, if not the gentlest scent of the Elorea lineup. Of course, if you want to boost it a little bit, then you would need to spray like 6 to 8 sprays, maybe more, but then you're going to be walking around for like the first hour, you're very strong. So there you go. But it's just an option, or under the clothing, or layer it a little bit more to give it a little bit more boost. But let's see where the notes are at. When I'm moving like this, it's kind of hard to tell. I get the vetiver starting to come out. So I'm getting that vetiver mixed with a little bit of that citrus with a light floral. So it's not really citrus, it's more the vetiver for sure. But let's smell it on the wrist. Interesting. On the wrist, it definitely has more of a slight vetiver with sage and almost like that melon rind, but with a light magnolia rose mix. More magnolia. Actually, I don't get so much of the rose. It's more the magnolia with the vetiver and sage and a little bit of greenery, which could be just the vetiver coming through with the other notes. But it's very, very light. But let's try it on the shirt. Interesting. I get kind of the same. I definitely get that magnolia with the sage coming through and that vetiver. Yeah. Not getting so much the rose. I don't think so. No, that's not true. So it's definitely, I really got a good whiff this time. You just really have to focus because it's very light, but I would say it is magnolia rose, and I do get a hint iris, but there's that sage and vetiver. So it's just apparently my body chemistry isn't picking up those notes as much. If I'm looking for it, I can get a little bit of the iris, but I'm looking for it, you know, because I do know it's on the list. But again, my chemistry is going to be very different than yours. So you're going to want to sample this yourself. I always say get a sample because everything's going to play differently with your nose, you know, the structure of your nose, the way that your body chemistry works. Chemistry is a really big deal. But let's try on here. Very light on here too. Very light. So what I get is more magnolia. It's like a magnolia bomb here. Huh, that's interesting. Magnolia with a little bit of that sage and tuberose. And vetiver. But it's magnolia forward with a little bit of rose and then a little bit of vetiver and sage underneath. So this one's really interesting. It's very beautiful. It's very beautiful, but that sage and it adds a little bit of that earthiness, and then the vetiver cuts through it to add that brightness that was there when the lemon was in the top notes. The lemon disappears, but the vetiver kind of comes in. This is the lemon, and vetiver is kind of like boop as the lemon disappears, if that makes sense. But this one is exceptionally delicate, very beautiful, very fresh. I still stand by it. It's a beautiful scent, but I do kind of like the initial spray a little bit more than I did towards the end, or where it's at now. And part of it is I prefer a stronger scent. I don't want to blast out a room. I don't want people giving me side eye as I walk past. But I like a strong scent, but I don't want to be intrusive to other people as well. So this one is not going to do that. This one is not that scent. Even if you did 6 or 8 scents, if you just walked around while you're doing whatever you did in the morning, by the time you left, it would be boosted up bigger than this, but it still would never be intrusive. That's just not the chemistry of this fragrance. It's very delicate. It's very gentle. Interestingly enough, I never really got the patchouli. Maybe if you're sensitive to patchouli or your body pulls it out, maybe you will get it more. I didn't really get that as much. So if you don't like patchouli, don't be afraid by that note, because it really, unless your body really loves it, I think you'll be okay. But it's just a beautiful, fresh, clean scent. Like if I had a bottle of this is something that I'd put on before I went to bed at night, that, you know, and have sweet dreams. That's what this is like. So if I were going to start to classify this, you know, these are unisex. Everything in the world, fragrance-wise, is unisex. You wear what you want when you want, but sometimes people want those classifications, and I'm going to give it to you off one person's opinion. So I would consider this to be initially very much a more feminine scent. Because of the strong florals, it was just did remind me of a wedding. It most definitely came across as very feminine. As it moved on, when the vetiver and sage came through with the magnolia and a little bit of that rose, it makes it a little bit more gender neutral, in my opinion. Though I think people would still feel it leans a little bit feminine. After an hour, it goes a little bit towards that middle section, but I say wear what you want when you want. Who cares? It's for everyone. Fragrance is for everyone. Yes. Tell it to the masses. Now, as far as when I feel like this would do really well season-wise, I do feel that this is more of a summer scent. This would be great in summer. The humidity, if you live in a humid place, may kick it up a little bit. And I'm sure it would be very lovely. It would also be great in spring. That's very much what this is. But, you know, Silk Bouquet. And it really lives up to that name. It's very delicate. It's very gentle. So if I were going to give this a score, and you know I am, just for me, this is my own personal preference, I would give this one a 6.8. And here is why out of 10. Just to clarify. Because I do love this one. When I initially sprayed it, I absolutely adored this one. But I feel over time it lost some of that beautiful floral that I was looking for, that magnolia, that rose, a little bit of the iris peeking through. That's what I wanted. And even now when I move, I could definitely smell that magnolia with sage coming through and vetiver, and it's lovely. But I think with Silk Bouquet, I wanted that bouquet. I want, especially magnolia. Magnolia has a very special place in my heart because of dear, beautiful Sarah. And so I wanted that. I wanted that magnolia. But if you find that a little bit too much, this is a really beautiful way of wearing a floral with a little bit more. It's kind of reminiscent to me, though it's completely different, of Orchid Mantis from Zoologist. Two different scents completely. How it reminds me of it is in that basil was used to add the grounding to the florals of Orchid Mantis. For this one, here's the florals, the sage cuts through it. So with that, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.